Hello and welcome to the Huddersfield Town preview show in association with Sportsbroker. I'm pleased today to be joined by Club Ambassador Andy Bove. Bove, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Max. Thank you. Are you?
Yeah, I can't complain, mate. After this weekend, there's no troubles at all. If we jump straight into it, how did you find the performance against Fulham? Right up there with one of the best of the season, wasn't it?
Oh, I think it's got to be up there to be the best of the season, isn't it? I'm going to be honest. If somebody had given me a point before kick-off, I'd have snapped their hands off. And to go there and get the 3 points and the play like we did is a massive plus, and it's a bonus. I think if somebody has looked at the fixtures this week, for me it was a free shot. Nobody was expecting us to get anything, and to get 3 points out of that, and especially at the beginning of the week we've got ahead of us, it's a massive boost for us. So hey, the lads must be absolute flying. Carlos, all the supporters, we've got to be positive now, and we've just got to look. We've got to look forward, and anything's possible after that result. Nobody's gone down to Fulham and taken points off them. Well, not many have anyway. So for 3 points off, especially in the form they are as well, is a massive plus, and the confidence through that team now. Every player must be massive, and I'm sure they can't wait to get going tomorrow night.
Yeah, you can tell around Canalside that everyone's buzzing, everyone's got a smile on their face. I think the most impressive thing for me with that Fulham game, now a couple of days away, is it was absolutely deserved. The performance, it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't as if we went and robbed it in the last minute or anything like that. It was a brilliant performance, absolutely everything that was, deserved, and a performance that from the first minute to last went almost as to plan as it could have done. I think that's probably the most satisfying thing, isn't it?
Yeah, massively, and Carlos has got to take a lot of acknowledgement for that. We all know how hard he works, and the time and effort that he puts into the homework of each game. But like you say, the plan to go as well as it did, what unbelievable. Like you said, right from the first go, it couldn't have gone any better. And Carlos and all his staff, all the analysis lads behind the scenes, have got to take a lot of credit at that, because we don't see the work they do. All we see is the 90 minutes and half an hour before and half an hour after the games. But these lads are working 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day, silly as it seems. And when it comes together like it does on Saturday, all the hard work is well worth it.
Are there any examples from your career at all where you're playing for Town or maybe somebody else, where you went up against a team who were top of the table or up there and you weren't expected to, but you put in a performance like that?
Oh, great question, that. But we're talking probably 20 years ago now. Last one against the top teams. It wasn't a league game, and that I remember playing against Arsenal in whatever it was, Coca-Cola Cup back then, and we lost 5-1 at our place, and then we went down to Highbury, and back then it's when your first team played your first team. So there were Tony Adams, Winterburn, Dixon, Keown, Seaman in goal, Merson, Ian Wright, all the top players, and they played in every round. They didn't rest any of them back then. So we played them at home, Old Leeds Road it was, lost 5-1. Second leg, to be fair, we're thinking this could be 10 like, we could be go down there, and Ian Dunn scores early on, and we played the perfect game. It's exactly what Neil Warnock asked us to do, how we played it. As we played one up front, I played up front by myself. They scored at a last minute, probably scored at last 10 minutes to make it 1-1. But again, no expectation. When fans went there thinking we're going to enjoy the day, whatever happens, that happens. But everything went perfect for us, and we it won a point because obviously we lost the 2 legs. But you come away feeling that's when it goes right. The work rate goes right. But if you give me a few more minutes, I'm sure there'll be more games when I'm bottom of the league and we won one of the top teams. It didn't happen that often, I've got to admit, but I should remember it. But I say we're going back 20 odd years now.
No, I think that's a perfect point though. The fact that it doesn't happen very often is key, and the fact that you said that the mood is lifted. As you remember, that's one of the first things that came to mind for you is how you felt after the game, and I imagine that give you a bounce into your next few league games against opposition who are more to your level and what have you. So I think that's what I was trying to reflect on what these lads will be going through now with games back to back to back to back. They'll be on a high now, and that sets you up when you're on the sort of run that the Championship and the FA Cup set you up for over the next few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. And it'll probably be, like you said, that lads will be on a high and they'll be raring to go tomorrow night. But it's another game now. And Carlos, I'm sure Saturday on the coach going home, Carlos will let them enjoy themselves. But now Sunday, I'm presuming they'll have been in training, they'll have had his same routine he always does. That game's gone now. Brilliant, well done, lads. But now we've got a big week ahead, a massive week for the club ahead of us. And it can silly it seems, I don't want to be negative, it can soon be undone if we don't perform and get his edge right for Cardiff. Cardiff are coming here. We know it'll be a tough game. All games in the Championship are tough. But Carlos now, I said, well done, lads. That game's gone now. Let's get his mind set for Cardiff. That's the most important job now. They'll do their homework again, but they're full of confidence. That's the main thing. And you never know. We always talk about moments in seasons that can change your season, or is the bigger point that look back and you end up in the playoffs or you end up doing well. It was that game or that week that. Yeah. I remember. I'm sure if you talk to Hef, that Championship game, that Leeds game was a massive game. I know.
Yeah.
Smith that year talks about Rotherham, and there are games. That Fulham game, they'll definitely be up there, but not if we don't do the job these next two games. But we could, if we can get, and I'm being realistic, if we could get 6 points out of the week, we'd have absolutely taken that beginning of the year, and then we could be looking back and saying, last week in February, Fulham, Cardiff, Birmingham, that was a big week for us, and this is where we could really see the league looking good for us.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the middle of this 15-game unbeaten run in all competition. It's ridiculous. We've not lost since November now, and it's not as if we've been playing small teams or teams in that run. I think that one of the pleasing things for us is, and especially from our side in the media, because we see this maybe more than most, is the perception of the team seems to be changing now. We obviously knew it from being around and what every week that we were very good and we backed them and we were confident in this group of lads that we've got. But everyone else seems to be catching on to the fact that there might be something happening here, because previously there'd been one or two people, doubting whether or not our position in the league table was true. But when you go to Craven Cottage, you put in a performance like that, there's no doubt in that Town are exactly where they deserve to be and belong in the table for a reason.
Oh, definitely. And that result on Saturday will have made a lot of people look up and think, hang on a minute, we are real contenders now. I know we don't want to talk about it and want to play it down, but we've got to be realistic. We're in end of February now. There's only March and April left, so we're there. We've played everybody at least once, so we know what the league's all about. The league doesn't lie. We're there for a reason, because we're a good side. We play well together. You can tell there's some, like you've said it. You see it. I only see it 90 minutes on a Saturday or a midweek game, but you're around them all the time, man. So you'll see the camaraderie, the laughing and joking between all the players, and that's important. And every good team needs that. And if you've got a good dressing room, you've got a good set of lads, and you're all fighting and battling together, then you could do it anywhere. And I always go back, and it sounds like I'm a stuck record. Kira, when we had a window cleaner, we had builders, we had plasterers, but we had a good team, a good team spirit. When we went out on that pitch, we were working together, and everybody were fighting for each other. And that's what it looks like out here. Carlos has built a good, solid team, and you just look at, we mentioned Fulham. We drew 0-0 with Sheffield United a couple of weeks ago. They're in the playoffs now. They've had an unbelievable run. But for me, if the decisions had gone right, we should have beaten Sheffield United. So we've played all the top teams in the league, and we've competed with them. So why shouldn't we be fifth in the league? Why shouldn't we be where we are? Because we deserve it.
Yeah, the team spirit aspect is one of the interesting things, but something you'll be able to speak on is, with your work in supporter service and as part of your ambassadorial work, on a match day, you do your hospitality, you're in the White Rose Club. You must have seen the mood in there amongst our supporters changing as well. And when you're out in the community, the way that people feel about town, being town supporters and this team especially, that mood, it's been a few years since it was as high and as positive as it is at the minute. And that's all part of this momentum we've got going up the league, isn't it?
Definitely. And yeah, and I know I've said it before, we don't like talking about it, but people outside are talking about, hang on, are we in for another Wembley trip? Are we in for playoffs? Because that's what they're starting to believe in it, which is great, and the confidence is rising. We've got going obviously Fulham on Saturday, going back to the Fulham at home game, and like I said, I was in the White Rose Club, and that were like a morgue. It were like this could be a long season. We could be relegation favourites here. Obviously, we'd lost 5-1. We'd just got back. We'd seen the year before how we finished the season. So the contrast from the first time we played Fulham to now we're talking and even dreaming about maybe another day at Wembley. And it could be realistic. We've got a long way to go and a lot of tough games, but we're there and thereabouts now. We're in a fight, and you can tell we've got a team that wants to fight and wants to put their edge in where it hurts. I'm happy to draw out, if we have to work hard and for the point, we'll take that. And them points, I know we've some of the games have been draws and there's unbeaten run, but them points are important. They keep momentum going. Yeah. And then you win, you get the wins. Then points become even more important. So
yeah, of course.
As you can tell in the community, you're going around the kids again, and to be fair, some of these kids who've only been watching the club 5 years, they've seen it all. They've seen as championship final, Premier League, relegation, a tough season. So they think it's something normal. Huddersfield Town being in championship playoffs and that. So they're thinking, well, we've done it once. Why can't we do it again? But I'm an old, obviously, I'm 48. I know where Town have been like, and rest of Town supporters are exactly the same. This don't usually come around very often. So let's enjoy it and let's go for it.
Yeah, I think that's a great sentiment, Bovey. One thing that we wanted to touch on while you're talking about your community work and the work you do with support service and everything is we've got another Pedal for Pounds coming up, Pedal for Pounds 10.5, we're calling this one. North Yorkshire before the last home game of the season, as it always is. Do you want to just run us through what, the causes behind that? Obviously sponsored by Made by Cooper again. Just everything that's to do with the event and your deadline's fast approaching. So if anybody does want to sign up, I think they've got a week left. Is that correct?
Yeah, deadline's March the 1st. So next Tuesday. But yeah, this is what the club's all about. We've always been brilliant in the community. The work, raising money for charities, getting all the fans on board. And it's just great to be able to do Pedal for Pounds again. Obviously, over the last 2 years, it's been difficult. We haven't been able to. And this year, we talked about it, but we just didn't think we would be able to do it. But Dean's obviously come back into the club, and one of the first things he wants to do is do a bike ride, get the fans back involved with the club, get them all cycling, raising money for 4 fantastic causes: the Yorkshire Air Ambulance, the Town Foundation, Platform One, and the Kirkwood. Something we've done over the last 15 years so successfully, and he wants us to get us back there. And no better than we. It's only a short ride. Well, it's a short ride, but it's a tough ride. It's in May the 6th. We're starting at the stadium, going to Burnsall, Kettlewell, Midland, staying overnight in Harrogate. That's about 92 miles. There is a shorter route if anybody thinks that might be too far for them. At Burnsall, go straight across to Harrogate, and that's 60 miles on day one. And then we all have a good night in Harrogate with Dean and everybody. We all stay in the same hotel. Something to eat, a few drinks, and then we get back on his bikes on May the 7th to get back in time for the Bristol City game, where we'll have a lap of honour before the game, and obviously celebrate all the cyclist achievements for them to do that, because it is a tough ride. It's quite a few hills. I'm not gonna say it's an easy ride. It's a fun ride because you'll all have fun, but go back, lap of honour, and then obviously you never know, there could be 2 celebrations that afternoon. If anybody's interested in more detail or wants to sign up, just get in touch with me, andy.booth@htafc.com, and I'll send all the details out. But if you've never done a ride before and you've always been thinking of doing it, this is a one to do. It's a shorter one. It's a one-night stay, and I promise you, you'll enjoy it. You'll absolutely love it. You'll find it tough, and you'll have some dark times, but don't be thinking about it. Sign up. It's you have great camaraderie, but you're raising money for 40 fantastic charities as well.
Yeah, you've had people doing it for 10 odd years, haven't you, Booby, who's joining in on these rides? I think you've said your riding days are behind you. You've been in car doing the route and scouting it out for people, but people do seem to really love it. And it's not just the community and social side about having a few drinks together, but these charities really do benefit from the money that's raised, and not just the people who are riding, but town supporters in general get behind the people who are doing it, not just with the lap of honour and everything, but people who can put their hands in their pockets too, and that, as you say, sums up the spirit around the club and the community aspect of what we do here at Huddersfield Town.
Exactly. We've raised over £2.7 million with a football club, a lot of charities. No other club, you don't hear any other clubs doing that. You don't hear clubs, the chairman cycling, inviting fans to do a lap of honour before this. We know this is a special club. It's our club, and we should be proud of it. And yeah, it's a cycle ride. You'll have fun, but you're raising money for unbelievable causes. And after the 2 years, what we've all had, these charities have really suffered. So to be able to keep fit, be healthy, and as you say, a lot of cyclists 10 years ago had never got on a bike, and now they do them every year. And it is, you're raising fantastic money for 4 unbelievable charities in our community. Hopefully, we'll never have to use them, but some people do. So you're doing your bit, and as you say, the fans who even just clap, don't have to contribute, just acknowledge the work and what the cyclists have done, and that's what it is. We're a community club. We always have been, and we always will be.
Yeah, I think that's really nicely said, Boovy. If we roll the years back a bit further, we were talking before, and we Cardiff tomorrow. In 1994, it was a 5-1 win. You scored against them. Do you remember that at all? Do you have any memories of that game?
Oh yeah, I always remember when I've scored. I always remember them games. Yeah, won 5-1, and do you know what? I might be wrong here, but I say I've remembered them all. We were either 3-0, 4-0 or 5-0 up at half time. I scored the 3rd goal after about half an hour. A great ball in from Chris Billy. Emile had just one touch, and it was a bit of a sitting actually. But they all count. And what that game sticks in my mind for is Terry Yorif, Taff, obviously great coach at Huddersfield over the years. He was manager of Cardiff, and he wouldn't even let them back in the changing rooms at half time. They walked off at half time, whatever, 3-4-0, 5-0 down, and it just sent them back out. So them lads were stood on the pitch for all the half. So when you've as a player, when you've seen that, you've come back out and you've noticed other team stay on the pitch, and Taff must have been absolutely furious. He were when he coached me, sometimes when he lost his head, it was terrifying. So for him to be manager back then in his prime as well, he must have known, keep these players away from the change rooms, or God knows what he'd have said to him. So he probably did the right thing for that. But us coming at us as players knew that, well, these are beaten already. So second half, I think, we're a bit of a null event. But yeah, it's always nice to score and remember your goals. But I'll tell you what, it'd be nice again to repeat that tomorrow night.
Yeah, that was under Neil Warnock. You brought him up earlier. There were, a few good times under him at the club, and there's clips on YouTube even of when you were being managed by him and stuff. Is that something you often look back on as a highlight of your career, playing under him in them times in Division 2?
Oh, that was my highlight of my career. I loved it, and I see Jacko every single home match, and Jacko knows he was my second favourite manager, but Warnock has got to be my all-time favourite. we had such a fantastic time, and not because we were winning games and we got promoted. It was just the laughs and stuff that we got up to in the changing rooms on away games and that. We were like, what, back then I think there were probably like 15, 16 lads. We were tight-knit. We were all good friends. We used to, and you won't remember it, Raj, but we used to be in Johnny or Visage every Saturday night together. And then Wednesday night we'd be in there as well. It would just, you talk about team spirit. I've never known team spirit like it. And that were all from Bill Warnock, who, not the greatest coaches training on the field, but his man management, his motivation were unbelievable. And you just have to mention his name. It puts a smile on my face and all the lads' faces who played with him.
Yeah, Cardiff in this day and age are on a good run themselves. You mentioned it earlier that there aren't any easy games in the Championship. How do you think that the lads need to go about, this game tomorrow night at home? Because we've, selling tickets for a £5. There's still plenty available if anyone watching wants to come down. There's going to be a decent crowd in, but it's all about the attitude, isn't it? And backing up that result, as you said, not letting anything slip, not letting the standards drop. And as Carlos said in his press conference earlier today, they're approaching this with as much respect and with as much sort of seriousness as they have any other game this season.
Definitely, yeah. And you're right, Raj. This is now the biggest game of the season. If we don't go in there and prepare properly, think we're going to beat Cardiff, it's going to be an easy game. We're going to be in for a massive shock. And I know Carlos and his team won't allow that, but it's easy for the player, especially after a fantastic result, to be a little bit laid back and not take it as professionally as you would do. But they're not allowed to do it. As you say, we're going to have a good crowd for the Wednesday night. It's half-term holidays as well, so I'm sure a lot of kids will be down for the night match. A promotional £5 a ticket. The last time we've done 2 promotions, we haven't played the best. So it'd be great to put a performance on, to put a good win on in front of our own fans and show, we had a fantastic result Saturday. Now look at us, this is a back-to-back, and look at us, we really mean business now. We've just gone and beaten Cardiff. Now we go to Birmingham. But it's a massive game, and it's because if we don't get a result tomorrow, then the work that we did at Fulham is a little bit tainted. And so now we've got to take that win on and be positive and move us forward. Because after this week, we could be in an unbelievable position in that table.
Yeah, all the teams around us seem to be playing each other at the moment as well. So it's a fantastic time, as you say, that the league's as unpredictable as ever. But if you keep putting your points on the board and winning your games and not losing as we haven't done since November, then you can't really ask any more of them. So it's absolutely fantastic.
Exactly, yeah. And that's it. Let's not bother about anybody else. All we have to do is concentrate on Huddersfield Town. And we know what we have to do tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be tough. Cardiff will be coming here. But Cardiff at home, Fulham away. We know which game we'd rather be playing, and we go there positive, but confident, but not overconfident. And let's put a good performance in, and let's be right on it from the word go. And let's give another 90 minutes that as fans will be proud of.
Yeah, I think if there's 2 things to take out of this, then Bovey, there's the £5 tickets that are available tomorrow night, and this pedal for pounds that you've got a week left to sign up for. So if anybody wants to interact with any of those 2 things, and then they've got their times running out, and they should do so as soon as possible.
Definitely, yeah. And I say it's a great time to be a Huddersfield Town fan and to be a Huddersfield Town supporter this season.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time, Bovey. Thanks ever to Sportsbroker for sponsoring the show, and thanks to Made by Cooper as well for sponsoring Pedal for Pounds. And I'll see you tomorrow night at the stadium.